Welcome to Warren Woods, everyone. I'm looking for a river. It's called the Galeen River. Let me know if you see it. I'm gonna go this way. Whee! Oh, fuck. Right now we're in a piece of Warren Woods. Now, Warren Woods is well known as it provides a look at what the forests in Michigan would have been like long before humanity, and it provides a perspective on the series of successions that occur from a lakeshore inland. Did you know that? Well, everything that's on the lakeshore right now is going to start looking like this. But this part of the woods, as you can tell, was well inhabited and well logged. So all these trees, we have the beeches, which have the really smooth gray bark, and we have the sugar maples, Acer saccharum, constantly battling for dominance. Who has the dominance of the canopy? When one arrests that dominance, the other one will forever live in its shadow, trying to capitalize upon every single new gap of sunlight that opens up. But it will always be one that finds that dominance when the succession is complete. This side of the forest was logged, so we don't know which one's dominant yet, but it's really starting to look like the maples. I found a trail. It's not a creek this time. It's not a creek. That's a creek. But it's cool. Usually this is all straight up swamp in summer, and you don't get to come and hang out with all these gorgeous sycamore trees. Oh, every dollop of sunshine comes through in winter. Eventually, I'm sure if I take this far enough, I'll know where the hell I am. Okay, ladies, what's over here but a great big frozen swamp surrounded by original old growth beech forest. This swamp, all that water that's frozen in there, it's staying there right now. It's gonna stay there for years and years. Every drop of water in this forest either ends up in here or in the Galeen River. If it ends up in the swamp, it's lucky. That water, by the time it ever gets out, if it ever does, is going to be so goddamn nutrient rich that you're gonna want that next flood to come washing over your lawn, because you never got a better fertilizer than alluvium. Now, people only see in a forest what it means to them, and if it doesn't mean anything to them, well, they'll go ahead and carve something into it and make it mean something to them. Unlike Mr. Coyote, who was traveling along this way until he beelined for the swamp. Mr. Coyote does not need to carve his appellation into every smooth-barked tree to prove that he appreciates a place. Starting as a sand dune over on the shores of what at the time was probably still Lake Chicago, as it was called. Those sand dunes got gradually pushed inland. New plant communities established themselves along the water bodies that began to carve their way through all the sediment. And eventually there became this dichotomy between the beech trees, the American beech, and the sugar maple. And this dichotomy continues today. Now, the beech trees, in the old growth forest, they have become dominant. For hundreds of years, they have maintained a stability wherein beech trees dominate the canopy. They provide 80 to 100% shade cover on the forest floor, allowing very few forbs to grow. Mostly you get these beech drops, which are actually parasitic to the beech trees, but pretty negligible to their health. And otherwise, all the forest floor fills up with these saplings. You got beech saplings mostly, and a lot of maple ones too. Every time a tree falls, one of these saplings will completely neglect growing out leaves, growing out any kind of horizontal axis, just and shoot straight for the frickin' sky, just like Buzz Lightyear told him to. Ah, that's the wrong toy. What all this looked like before we came and screwed it up and like covered it with strip malls and desperation within a lot of abundance. Well, that's because you're missing this. You're missing the lowland dominance of Platanus occidentalis, aka my love, the sycamore. Whereas on the ridges you have Quercus rubra, the red oak, like this guy and that one. And then you get deeper into the forest and you have the reestablishment of the dominant competition between Acer and Fagus, or maple and beech, with occasional prunus, which are these little skinny guys with the scaly bark. That's what you're missing, in case you were wondering. I got it. I got all the answers right here for you. I'm a goddamn guru. You ever wanted a guru in your life? All right, there he is, and that too. Also that one. Now this is all we have left, and this is actually, along with Warren Dunes, over on the coast of Lake Michigan. This is where the very concept, the fundamental concept of ecological succession was developed, because a brilliant man observed that the ecosystem we have here over in the forest was a later evolution of the very same ecosystem we have over on the coast of Lake Michigan. That has now drawn everything that we think about with ecology, the dynamism, the fluidity of its stability. You know, am I sounding like a hippie yet? Are you annoyed yet? Are you getting pissed off at my rhetoric yet? This is a cherry tree. I got the prunus right there. There's the prunus. That's the prunus right there. Sorry, I just knocked some of your bark off. This is the swamp with all the button bush and the sycamores. I gotta be really careful here because I'm getting in these lowlands. I'm trying to find a bridge. I know there's a bridge that crosses the river somewhere. I'll film again when I find it.